Yep, just waiting for the stream to catch up. We should be off in moments. There it is. Now, it looks like Kami was thinking a little bit about what stage he was going to go to there and decided to opt for Airman early.
It looks like he may struggle through Airman again, by the looks of it. This guy's a little troll there.
I said it before and I will say it again. Mets, I know that they are like one of the mascots of the series or whatever, but not a fan.
Yeah, well, you could be a fan of the baseball team, the Mets, and, you know, wear a paper bag when you go out like I do. You know.
Meanwhile, matphilly decided to go to Crashman for some reason. I'm very confused about these. It looks like the runners decided to both go to the stage that gave them the most trouble in the last seed.
Yeah, but I think we're going to have a study with matphilly here as to why you want to save Crashman and or Heatman for very late in the cycle of the bosses. And, well, not so much the bosses, but the stages that you select, because you can just save so much time if you have the item energy.
Well, looking at matphilly's screen, even just being in a situation like this and not having anything that you can shoot up can be kind of trouble when you've got some enemies that are spawning at the top of the screen. And as we all know, Mega Man cannot look up.
Yeah, Dr. Light should really look into that little defect and try to fix that sooner rather than later. I mean, it's been, what, 10 games now, and still hasn't figured out how to get Mega Man to aim up properly?
I mean, technically more than 10 games, considering he didn't figure it out by X.
Yeah, but that's a different... isn't that... Dr. Kane or something like that?
No, Light built him. Dr. Kane found him.
Ah, okay.
Gotta respect the lore, man!
Yeah, very true. Ooh, matphilly, taking a little gamble and paying off. Easily could have been stuck on that ladder area. But kammesennin seemed to get through Airman with a lot less difficulty this time through.
Yep, and deciding to go through the one of the other most difficult stages to get through without items, and headed into Heatman, which looks like we've got toothpaste dispensers, birds, and frogs, none of which are good enemies to encounter on this roam.
Yeah, I was gonna say lions, tigers, and bears, oh my.
You know, we talk so much about shrimp and crabs and metroids because they can spawn anywhere, but all three of these enemies are laggy enemies because they can spawn a lot of sprites on screen at a time, and usually that does not work out in your favor.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that my #1 fan, pun intended, hasn't shown up yet in one of these stages, and that would be our fat fans. They don't cause lag, they just kind of cause death, because you can't judge the jump, and then, oh, fat fan, sorry.
I'm being told it's not Toothpaste's laser boomerangs, which, okay.
Yeah, well. They're wrong.
I guess I need to respect the lore.
What is this, Tron or something? Laser boomerangs?
But, on the plus side, after, our runners are past these stages, the rest of the Robo should be fairly simple in comparison, he said tentatively before damning the runners with a commentary curse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you do know we're doing commentary for this, right?
I started saying it before I started thinking about it. They'll be fine. They'll be fine, I'm sure.
Wow, with what they had to put up with in Game 1, I mean, so far it looks like a walk in the park, comparatively speaking. Is matphilly, Oh.
Oh no.
Well, it looks like he's taking 4 damage, and I'm referring to Heatman, so it looks like it'll only take 7 cycles, as matphilly finishes off his first boss. Kammesennin is already on his second boss and finds Crashman at the end of the Heatman stage.
Yeah, that could have been a little bit dangerous. I was saying, oh no, just because Heatman was moving so slowly, which can end up being a troll for a lot of runners because it's difficult to gauge how you're supposed to jump over them if you can.
Yeah,
but matphilly making it through with a little issue, heading into a more conventional early stage in Quick Man. Likewise, Kami heading into Bubble Man to of the shorter stages also.
Well, watching Kammesennin so far, there doesn't seem to be much method to his madness aside from he'll look to see that Crashman isn't up and select for the stage that he picks. Otherwise, he seems to always go up and just pick whatever stage that is, and then goes for it.
Yeah, like I said before, in general, I think he just sticks to his 80% routing in terms of which stage he's going to select in terms of direction. But like I said, I think trying to avoid that crash for a moment now.
Seeing matphilly go through the crash stage and Kammesennin hitting some shrimp, but they're not Buster immune this time, so...
This time.
That was a tin can that just kind of noped off the screen. Found a way to just zip itself right off the screen when Kammesennin got through his side of the zip.
Yeah, that can be a blessing right there. That whenever you get the tin cans there, they tend to just not feel like fighting Mega Man today, and they'll just leave. Looks like we got a pretty aggressive Metal Man on matphilly's stage. And a vanilla Bubble Man. Is this even randomized?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bubble Man didn't seem too pleased that he was in his own stage and just kind of went, I guess I'll just jump up and down and whatever. I'll go through the motions,
up and down and
I guess.
Explode.
Now we have Kammesennin here going to Quick Man stage, matphilly going into Metal Man stage.
Go to Metal Man stage, probably pick up both of those E-Tanks.
Quick Boomerang not as reliable for matphilly as it was last time. It looks like at least it's working on the tin cans, but matphilly making a small mistake there, and it looked like mistiming a jump. Alright, Easy Danger, I gotta put you on the spot here. What music is this? Actually, I'm gonna put chat on the spot as well.
Please put chat on the spot. I don't know the music to anything. This is one of my favorite songs in the randomizer, though.
I was gonna say, this is too, and I'm just like, I want to know what this is now.
I'm actually sitting here with my mic muted because I was whistling along with it.
Oh, well, if I knew that, I would have bought you a little more time. Come on, chat, you're disappointing me here. We were rocking out to some tunes, but we don't even know which tune it was.
Yeah, matphilly, I'm hoping that he doesn't need to pop that E-Tank that he just picked up to get to the stage. He's had a little trouble so far. Meanwhile, Kami's making the Metal Man dance in the Quick Man stage.
No, I don't think they have the items to do it, but you can zip through part of that catastrophe that is the early sections of the Metal Man stage. Oh, Tin Can gets him. And that's going to be a game over, and we'll see if he nopes out of there or not.
Yeah, he's gonna gonna get out of there. Hopefully, he'll find his item one that he needs to do that zip you were talking about, because this first section seemed to be giving him quite a bit of trouble.
Yeah, these tin cans don't seem to be making friends with Mega Man, with all of their placements being in probably like the worst spots ever in this stage.
Well, that combined with them not being vulnerable really to anything. I mean, they're vulnerable to Quick Boomerang and Buster at least, but they're not one-hit kills on it. That's making it really tough unless your movement is like Kami's and he's just managing to avoid them a lot better.
Yeah, but they do so much damage, though. I mean, that looked like it just caught kammesennin by surprise with how much damage the tin can did there. So if you get hit by the small spot, or the small cans when they jump out, it does 4. But it does a whole heck of a lot more right there when you catch it when it's formed like that. It does 8, if not 10 damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's 8, but I'm not sure. And I think it's, there's the difference between the body and the head there.
Well, when it's formed together, it seems to do a lot more damage, but when the cans are just kind of flying off after you hit it, it doesn't seem to be too bad.
Yeah, I think you take, I think you'll take the increased damage if ever you are come in contact with the head. If you were even to land on the head when it was sitting there with his eyes closed, you'd take that same amount of increased damage versus touching any of the individual tin can parts.
Well, at least we're through our tin can nightmare for kammesennin, and matphilly finished off a stage as well. matphilly has 3 Robot Masters defeated. kammesennin has 5, so that's a 2-stage advantage here for kammesennin, but there's a little bit of, I guess we could say, silver lining to that, is matphilly has finished the crash stage already.
True. And it looks like he just found a weakness for the tin cans, which will make his foray back into Metal Man a lot easier. Looks like he's got the leash shield that he's going to use against them.
And this is one of the few times where I've seen our space monkeys just kind of doing something that wasn't just noping out on the screen.
Yeah, usually, and that's why they're called space monkeys, they, if there's nothing above them, because they're only made to be in Woodman stage and jump up from the bottom of the screen, if there's nothing above them, they'll just fly away and not feel like being in the game today. But they will be going to space.
Yeah, but we've seen them so far in a lot of stages where there actually is, you know, a good bit of corridors for them to jump around on, and they've been a pretty much more than a minor little nuisance this time around.
I've got to say my absolute favorite is when they're in Heatman Stage 1, or Room 1, and you're going through the whole thing, and you're feeling great because they are all just jumping out of your way throughout the whole stage. Then at the very end, right before you get to go down the ladder, it's because there's a platform on top of them, they'll jump out and not actually fly off the stage, and it'll be the first time they do that, and it'll be a complete and utter surprise. It's the best to watch. Sucks when it happens to you, but for other people, it's great to watch.
Yeah, I believe it. Chat finally coming through for us. It's Venus's stage from Mega Man 5 on the Game Boy is what we were rocking out to before.
That's just one of my favorites. I get excited every time it comes on. I never even noticed it until it's about halfway through, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's that song. I might have to play Mega Man V one day. Kami taking out Woodman. In Woodman, requisite, is this even randomized?
Wow, yeah, that's 2 bosses now that have been in their own stage.
Yeah, obviously whoever made the seed did not sufficiently randomize.
I think we're gonna have to call a judge over insufficient randomization of the deck. And matphilly,
right, we didn't get our bosses didn't get pile shuffled. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I think that's what happened. Is they did get pile shuffled, and you know, you pile shuffle it twice, and by the rules, that's actually insufficient randomization of the deck. Now they finally figured it out that you don't actually shuffle a deck when you pile shuffle it twice.
That's why I just spread shuffle.
Oh no. Yeah, kammesennin's gonna
he's not gonna be getting that E-Tank today.
Yeah, I guess foregoing trying to use item 1 and trying to stay as true as possible to the Buster only strategy until he absolutely needs to break his vow there.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like yeah, Leaf Shield is horizontally backwards.
Oh, kammesennin got out of it somehow. I thought he was stuck underneath Airman for a second.
I wasn't even watching. I was too busy seeing matphilly do that pause buffer to get out of that E-Tank.
But kammesennin is on his way to what's been proven to be his nemesis so far, and that is the Crashman stage. matphilly is going to have to do some catching up, but as we know, matphilly has done the Crash stage already, so some of the stages left should go quicker for him.
Exactly, and anything can happen in the Wily stages.
Oh yeah, we definitely saw that in Game 1, so... You know, even Game 1 in itself was pretty much testimony on, you know, what exactly can happen. kammesennin had a good, probably 4-minute lead, or close to it, coming into Wily 1. But 2 deaths to the dragon send you into game over mode and right back to the beginning of Wily 1, and, well, there goes a 4-minute lead and turned into a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what's gonna happen when you get up there until you get up there. And of course, the runner's not knowing where the other runner is. They can get understandably frustrated because they, like I said, I'm sure both of them thought that they were behind at that point.
Well, I don't even think it was at that point, because matphilly struggled mightily on Crash stage. kammesennin, well, In Game 1, I'm referring to. And kammesennin took a lot of deaths on the Airman stage. So you're almost thinking you're behind just right off the jump, and you're... I mean, do you kind of try a little too hard when you think you're behind in an effort to, you know, gamble a little bit and, you know, try to make time up?
Exactly.
kammesennin looked like he might have been trying to set up a zip of some kind that he can try to... Yeah, and there we go. Zips right back across to the other ladder.
I am not familiar with that zip.
Watch and learn, young Padawan. Now, I know it exists, but I have no idea what actually triggers it. I think there's probably 2 or 3 people at least in chat that would know a lot more of the details on how to actually pull that particular mini zip off to get from the item energy over to the ladder that lets you go back up to this end of the stage.
Oh man, take the puppy. Thank you.
Were you getting a little worried with matphilly's Woodman fight?
He was doing the thing that kills most of my runs, where you try to get that one last hit in before you pop the E-Tank and hope for the best, but you don't get to pause afterwards because you've got a shot on screen. Then he managed to pull it off and survive.
Well, kammesennin is at 22 minutes and a 2-stage advantage on to Wily 1. I think we're going to play a little game since somebody's made it to the Wily 1 stage. Would you care to enlighten us as to what that game is, Easy Danger?
We are going to guess the weakness, or the color and weakness of the our Mecha Dragon is going to be at the top of the stage here. And as always, I'm going with orange, and as always, I'm going to be correct in assuming that it's going to be a crash weakness.
Alright, I'm going to go back to the hollowed history of time and try to summon my inner pharaoh, and I'm going to go with the Red Eyes Black Dragon. And I'm going to go with the Bubble Shooter being the weakness.
Bubble Shooter weakness. Now, I'm not sure if we've seen the runners actually fire Bubble Lead. So I'll be interested to see what the trajectory is of it.
Oh, matphilly.
Oh, matphilly. And just realizing now that Item 1 is, that's... Oof. I was gonna say, Kami, do not shoot off that flash there. That was not gonna work out for you.
Oh, spamming the metal blades, and it doesn't seem good enough.
Now, he can probably use flash, but he has to shoot it off either immediately upon entering the screen or before he gets into the screen. Which was the problem before. It looked like he was going to shoot it after he'd already gotten there, and he would have just frozen the frogs on the ladder.
Well, he could have got high enough on the ladder to take the hit at that point, wouldn't he? And then just kind of damage boost his way through the ladder section.
No, it looks like he was taking enough damage to get knocked off the ladder. He tried to shoot with Leaf Shield and Metal Blade, and neither one of them. Now we've got another hot pink dragon? Who made this seed? Charlie, did you make this seed too?
Oh, what a troll on the sound effects. The heat shot had the effect of scoring a clean hit, and Leaf Shield is a negative. Let's see, Oh, yeah!
Oh, you're right.
Still, you know, you're still in the running here. If matphilly crash bomb again, and it's, you know, still effective. You know, this is one of those things where we could both be right here. matphilly, interesting, taking a death early. I guess mistiming a jump. Looks like not trying for any kind of intentional game over.
No, he looked like he wasn't expecting that egg to drop there, and when it did, he threw off his timing trying to avoid it.
Now we have kammesennin after defeating the dragon, moving on to Wily 2. Looks like he's got a pretty commanding lead here in Game 2.
Yeah, at this point, it does look like it's Kami's game to lose. Again, there's still 2.5 more Wily stages to go, so anything could happen, but...
Buster weak crash walls. So it looks like the regular Buster shot is our crash weakness of this game. Playing right into kammesennin's hands, as he is, generally speaking, a Buster-only player, and only tries to utilize the items where absolutely necessary.
Sorry, I missed about 20 seconds. I had a phone call.
Well, you missed a whole lot of not much. matphilly's taken the ride on item 2 through the Yoku block section, and kammesennin is finding our Picotan robots to be at least Buster vulnerable. It looks like 2 shots in each Picotan block section's getting taken down.
Is it 2 shots? Or is he just firing that quickly?
It sounds like 2 shots. But so far...
but Kami's Buster Finger is basically an auto-fire.
Now, do we have to, like, controller check him at the end of this to make sure it's not, like, a turbo fire button or anything like that? Could we, like, deck check him or something like that, you know? Of course, I say this in jest, but, you know.
Okay, this might even it up, because Kami's gonna have to repeat the stage 5 times if he wants to get his Hadouken.
Now, that's very true.
Though Hadouken probably counts as an item, so Kami was not gonna use it.
That's also very true, but I don't believe it has any item energy, though. You just kind of fire it at will.
Well, it just depends on how long he can keep maintain full energy.
Then usually, you know, it's what, 1 Hadouken, and that's about it. Oh, matphilly.
Yeah, Hadouken is 1-hit kills. He took a intentional death there. Maybe he's trying to refill his lives.
So it looked like he had just entered into Wily 1.
Yeah, he'd immediately entered in and decided to run to the left to get that extra spawned Sniper Joe. So I'm assuming that he wanted to refill his lives before heading through in case he ends up taking a death at some point.
Yeah, you take a death to a dragon, and not only does it send you back to the halfway point, but if, as you saw in Game 1, if you game over in Wily Stage 1, it sends you back all the way to the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be better just to take the game over there, refill his lives, and move on from here.
And it looks like the Guts Dozer was vulnerable to charged heat, and it seemed to be spammable, as it looked like it was at full charge right at the start. Kammesennin deducing that the fake platforms are near the end. Now he's going to try to figure out where he can jump from to get to the ladder. And hopefully Kammesennin's oh, he found the pit tile again. Oh, unfortunate. Matphilly seems to have a little bit of trouble trying to ascend the ladder, and finding that the leaf shield is firing backward when it up is down and down is up, instead choosing Time Stopper to get through that particular section.
Which is probably the safer instance. Of course, Time Stopper's usage is one of those things that can be randomized. It can use up weapon energy significantly faster than normal, or it can only freeze time for a short amount of time and take up different amounts of weapon energy. So just kind of fortunate that it was a vanilla flash. I mean, I hate vanilla. Why would it be vanilla? Randomized flash. Bar, bar, bar.
Yeah, you want to have it, you know, last for maybe only a second or two. Looks like Matphilly's going to find that bubble weakness for the dragon before checking the crash bombs, unfortunately. So it looks like we're going to have to wait until the end to see if the dragon was in fact crash weak yet again. Oh, Kammesennin getting a little less friendly enemies this time around in the elevator section. Game 1 we had some snails, which did absolutely nothing to get in the runner's ways. Kammesennin just damage boosting through the first screen.
Yeah, Kami's trying to damage boost off of that one enemy long enough for the trolley to get around, but he wasn't able to avoid damage once he got onto the elevator and ended up just getting knocked back down again.
Yeah, I guess he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. If he can make this jump, he should be able to just damage boost through.
Yep, there he goes.
And Kammesennin has made it through the elevator section. And also, going into Guts Dozer, he already knows that the next boss, or excuse me, Guts Dozer was last stage. He knows the Buster is the crash wall weakness for the boo beams. And he's getting trolled by the sound effects.
Oh, that's such a great sound. We got another bubble weakness here.
Oh, the boo beams. And these weapon items, when they fire, will produce a random sound effect. So you could have it sound like it did for the heat shot, where it sounded like it was hitting, but it actually wasn't hitting.
Exactly. It could be pretty much any sound effect from the game, too. Including the sound of Robot Master exploding, which is always fun.
Yeah, I believe it. Kammesennin disposing of his first robot master in the refight here. Matphilly looks to be starting Wily 3.
So yeah, Kami's maintained pretty much the 2-stage lead throughout the Wily stages, unless something goes screwy for him. More than likely, looking like he's going to take this the second match and move on.
Well, you never know. I mean, Kammesennin does have some number of E-tanks that should not be 0. I believe it's 2 right now. If the Wily machine is not Buster Weak, and as we know, there's a 50-50 shot of it being Buster Weak, that might be the one thing that gets in the way and allows Matphilly some amount of time to catch back up.
Very well could be. The way Kami's plowing through these bosses, though, I don't think he's gonna end up having too much trouble.
Yeah, definitely not
always,
with the refights, but you know, I think, I mean, I'm just trying to think of, you know, what could really go wrong for Kammesennin here that might, you know, let Matphilly back into the game, as it were. But it's a very short list, as Kammesennin is onto his last boss in the refights, and he'll be going up against the Wily machine in short order, as Matphilly is beginning Wily 4.
Yeah, now it comes down to this. And we've got a Buster Weak machine.
Kammesennin utilizing 2 insurance policies with the E-tank to make sure he takes down this Wily machine. And it'll be on to Victory Road for Kammesennin, and a date with the alien to close this match out.
So, what are we thinking for alien colors and weakness?
Well, the dragon was pink, so the alien's clearly going to be purple.
I'm gonna say turquoise again. I like turquoise and quick boomerang weakness.
I'm going to go with the leaf shield.
Leaf shield actually wouldn't be too bad, because since it was reversed, it's a little bit easier to fire at Wily sometimes.
Axe.
Turquoise bite? Oh my god! GG, Kami.
Well done, sir. And with an official SRL time of 38 minutes, 44 seconds, Kammesennin takes down Game 2 and the match.
GG to Kammesennin.
And now we get to watch Matphilly close out his game with 4 tanks. Unfortunately, since this was a winner-go-home match, it looks like Matphilly will be eliminated from the tournament, as Kammesennin, who has just sounded like I heard a Discord ping and has just joined us in the chat.
Hello there.
Hi.
So how do you feel having to play 2 more matches? made it back into the final bracket draw.
Feels good, man. Feels really good, man.
How do you feel about that first seed?
I don't that I don't feel so good about. That first seed was brutal.
You seem to have a little bit of trouble with Airman there.
Yeah, that air stage, that was something else, man. I mean, I figured out before I got through what to do to get through it, but you know, knowing what to do and making your hands do it are just two different things. I just kept falling in the pits.
Yeah, that was a rough one with was Buster Immune, Shrimp, and just trying to maneuver around them. It looked like pretty tough.
Yeah, the Buster Immune Shrimp were probably the worst thing about that seed by far. I think without them it wouldn't have been half as difficult for the most part, but that dragon, he really had my number. As soon as I had to start switching through weapons and things weren't working, I was just like, uh-oh, I'm hit, oh, I'm alive, uh-oh, no, I'm dead. Just kept getting me over and over.
Yeah, that was interesting, because that's when you took the game over in Wily 1, matphilly actually pulled ahead for a while, and it was really close and back and forth between the two of you guys in the Wily stages for a while there. I was saying to Freak, I'm pretty sure that they both feel like they've got to be behind now, just because you both had some really tough times in some of the Robo stages, and then both took some deaths to the Dragon too.
Oh yeah. Once I was done with Pico, I was staring at SRL like that done is coming, and the closer I got to the alien, the more intense I was staring at it. The suspense kills me.
Oh no. Yeah, I even actually asked Easy Danger about that, because we were speculating both of you were just kind of going, all right, you know, I had that point in the game where, you know, I just don't execute and I get put behind, and like you just said, you just kind of going, the other person's gonna done, they're gonna done, and does that really throw you off? Or, I mean, how do you keep your head in the game knowing that, you know, you could be in a position where your opponent just dones on you and steals the game away?
Well, it's really not easy, and at the same time, it almost helps in ways, depending on what we're talking about here. But I noticed that I'm so fixated on it, and I need to keep my head in the game, so I start running myself through about 2 steps ahead of where I am to make sure I'm ready to hit each button at the right time and react to each thing the right way. And as soon as I think I know what enemy's going to be ahead, I've got a plan in my head, and I start going with it. It's usually right. Just got to see the first couple of screens, and you kind of know what the rest of the stage is going to throw at you as far as enemies go.
Alright, now, only because it's the sake of the interview here, that Crashman stage in the first game, take us through that.
Yeah, that was fun. I believe I was using Metal Blade, I think, on the shrimp there. Those 3 screens with the platforms there, when you find shrimp, especially Buster Immune Shrimp, you gotta do something else to deal with them, and I believe I tried Flash on the first screen, which worked, but it forced me to drain the entire thing. I'll tend to go with Flash if I can, because I'd rather not kill things with stuff other than Buster if I can avoid it, but I wasn't really able to avoid it very well this time around. But yeah, basically, you kind of end up dancing with the shrimp while you're on the platform and just hoping they don't respawn again, and if they do, you end up just jumping and trying to lure them and just barely not hit them. You gotta get close, but only so close. And was it in the first game where I got that zip again, or was that just now in this one? On Crash Stage?
I saw you get it just now.
That was
according
just
to
now,
chat,
okay.
you got it in the first game as well, though.
No, I definitely didn't do it in both. They might be thinking of a different zip. I was thinking on Crash Stage. I know I got the bubble zip both times.
You did the bubble zip in both games, and then I was actually telling everybody that it looked like you were going up that ladder to get the energy, and then you were going to zip across to the other ladder and Easy Danger kind of went, wow, I didn't even know you could do that. So, you were educational today, kammesennin, surprising even the commentators with what's hiding in the game here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of spots you can do that in this game, but it's basically something that carried over from the Mega Man 1 engine. There's a few different zips that utilize that same exact mechanic there, where you just, for one frame at the top of a ladder, press down and B, and also release down. This is all within one frame. If you do that, he'll be a little bit above the ladder. Make sure you're facing left, move up, and you zip through to the right.
Okay, so just 3 inputs in one frame.
Yeah, it sounds really simple, doesn't it? It's not.
So, all right, let me recap this. It's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA.
Unless you're playing Gradius 3, then it's up, up, down, down, LR, LR.
Ah, okay.
That's the other one's the suicide code in that one. Yeah, be careful.
Will do. I will try to remember that minor little detail.
So, yeah, how do you feel moving forward and throughout the rest of the tournament?
It feels good that I'm working my way back into it there. You know, that was a really good race last time. It was unfortunate that I got knocked out of it, but really, either way, when what it comes down to for me is I just want to play at a certain consistency, so to speak. I'm aiming for sub 40 from now on, basically. If I can do that, I'm happy, win or lose.
I think that's a fairly healthy attitude to go into it with.
Oh, I can see why you were so worried about that first game, because I think you won it with a 44-minute time, but, you know, luckily for you, both of you struggled, and you were able to fight through it a little better than matphilly in that first game.
Oh, I got really lucky at the end of that, too. I was going through the menu, and when I was getting down to Bubble, I noticed I really don't have much of this. I was like, oh, please, just please don't be this. And then it was, and I had just enough.
Yeah, that really worked out in your favor. But then again, you could have taken a death, picked up the item energy, but I guess you're kind of in that mode where, you know, oh man, matphilly's, you know, right behind me, so taking a death easily could have been the difference between winning and losing that first game.
Yeah, and that was definitely on my mind. I fired it at him, and I just quickly realized how much damage it did, and I said, I'm going for it.
Well, it was good you did, because you ended with 1 tick of weapon energy left, but
yeah, super
that's
close.
all you need. All right, so out of everybody you know that's gone through so far, is there somebody you're kind of saying, all right, they're my nemesis, I want to get the, you know, this person in the final bracket so I can take them down?
I hadn't really thought about it too much, but, you know, I would kind of like to race Squidman in the end. I think that'd be cool. He's somewhat my rival every week anyway during the weekly races. It's like, you know, if I miss out, I don't ask who got first. I ask who got second. I already know Squid got it. So he's the one that, like, if you can beat him, it feels good.
Well, as we know, Squidman has advanced into the final bracket as well, defeating Stuffin' Things, I believe, a few days ago. I think it was Friday when they had their match. It might have been Saturday, but one way or another, yeah, you should be able to, you know, got a 1 in 11 shot at getting anybody in that first round, so... So, since we have a little bit of time before matphilly dumpsters the alien here, is there somebody that you're kind of going on the inverse of, I really don't want to be put up against this guy in the first round or ever
Let me
in
guess.
that winners?
Let me guess, my answer to this question is going to be next week's match, isn't it? If I had to pick somebody, I would probably say Metalo, because I know he'll crush me. I've learned most of what I know about Mega Man 2 from him. He's incredibly consistent. He's gotten some absolutely just god tier times in the randomizer. He's somebody that, you know, if I lost to him, I couldn't feel bad about it, but I don't really want to have to.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, matphilly has finished his second game with an official SRL time of 45 minutes and 34 seconds. And that will conclude this match, as kammesennin has emerged victorious 2-0. kammesennin, as a result, has earned a spot in the final bracket draw, and matphilly, unfortunately, has been eliminated from the tournament. And I believe matphilly should be getting an invite and might be joining us soon.
Yeah, he should be in any second now.
So is there anything else, since you got a minute or two, Kami, to just kind of, you know, the floor is go for it?
I don't know. I mean, we pretty much covered it. That first seed, it was basically all about them shrimp, that dragon, and me fishing for the bubble weakness, terrified of it. Second seed was pretty decent. I kind of liked it.
All right. Well, it looks like we have matphilly in our Discord now. How do you feel after that, matphilly? You with us? Uh-oh. He jumped out. I guess a little technical difficulty. Might need to turn on the mic. But I guess this would be the point at which I say GG, kammesennin. I hope you do well in the final bracket draw, and maybe catch a bye or something like that. Who knows? Just don't lose twice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just hope not to lose twice. I mean, as long as the seeds are half decent, I stand half a chance. It comes down to that dragon a lot of times. That rascally dragon. Because I don't really know the vanilla weapons all that well. I mean, coming into randomized stuff every time, it's an adventure trying to figure it out.
Well, the dragon the second time around, seeing the grid, Easy Danger had picked the crash bomb. I picked the bubble shot, and we were both right, apparently, as the grid on the final scroll came through.
Yeah, it looks like matphilly's having some audio issues.
Oh no!
We're working on it, trying to get him in here into the on-air stream. I think he's restarting Discord.
All right, so hopefully he'll be ready to go in a little bit. Since we do have a little time left still, you know, is there anything that really kind of, I guess, grind your gears the wrong way when it comes to particular enemies, or is it just, you know, anything that happens to be Buster immune is just gonna be an issue?
Buster immunity is, of course, always an issue when I come across that. Certain enemies I can just kind of get over, it doesn't matter, including the chickens, believe it or not. If they're Buster immune, I can just run right through them and maybe take an E-tank, but I'll make it through any section that has them. I would have to say, if there's an enemy that really stands out every single seed, it would be those tin can guys. They're like a stacked column, little totem pole, kind of. If they take one shot to kill, they are no problem. If they take any more than that, or they're immune, oh no. The damage is insane.
Yeah, we were actually talking about those guys. I'm trying to remember what stage it was in where there were just a ton of
Metal Man.
tin cans. Metal Man, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Metal Man stage.
Yeah.
And this race, that was one of the things that gave matphilly some trouble. Were all those tin cans there, because they you shoot them and you take a hit, which is better than taking a hit from the whole stack or from the head, but you're still taking a hit, and just with so many of them and nothing to avoid them with.
I don't think it actually does any less damage if you shoot them and get hit by their pieces.
Well, the pieces
do less damage than
more damage.
If you get the whole stack, you get like. But
when it was fully assembled, it was almost like getting bodied by Airman, where it was doing 8 to 10 damage.
Ouch.
Okay, I didn't notice that difference. I just knew both were doing too much.
Yeah, I believe it. That's about what I would qualify it as. Is just please avoid, does not want.
Looks like we've got matphilly back.
Yes, we're here. You guys can hear me? We're good?
Yes.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Congrats, Kami.
Thanks, man. GG's.
Yeah. So yeah, the seeds from hell we should talk about, right?
How you feeling about those races?
The floor is yours. We've got plenty of time to, just kind of chat a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, first off, I had fun. The first seed was fun. It was a little bit rough, but it kind of got me thinking on my toes, which is kind of nice sometimes. I feel like, I played Mega Man 2 since I was a kid. I know every little detail to that game. So when you play a randomizer, it's just like buying that game over and over again with like different results. So it definitely gets interesting. And it was a real close race, which that's literally all I was hoping for in this whole situation. And then we got to seed 2, and then I busted a Kame from his last match. Started with Crashman because I impulse up and started, and yeah, pretty much went downhill from there.
I almost did that. I recall that stage select screen. I pressed up and I was like, bottom left.
I saw that. I saw you go up there and hesitate on it. I think it was one of the few times where matphilly actually beat you to getting into the first stage, because you went up there, took a second, and then decided, yeah, no, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's always kind of like a mystery. It's like you know that you're not supposed to go in there, like start switching and hitting start. And I don't know what I thought. I guess I was just too amped up from the last match, and I was really excited to like get into the next one. I just kept pressing too fast.
Now, what was interesting is both of you started Game 2 on the stages that you struggled the most on in Game 1. I was kind of thinking, all right, was there some kind of like little pinky swear backroom deal where you guys just like, all right, we're going to go through the worst stage from Game 1 first, or it just happened to work out that way?
Well, I didn't have a choice. I could have reset the game, but then it wouldn't have been really that fun. So I just decided to kind of just man up and go with it. And surprisingly enough, it wasn't too bad of a stage. It had a little rough ends. But overall, it was still manageable, being technically it was Buster only for me at that stage. So, it wasn't too bad. Could have been worse.
Yeah, when I pick stages, I do it a lot different from most of the other runners. I'm basically only looking in 2 spots. Immediately, like in the first frame, I'm looking at the top middle to see if it's crash. If it's not, I go there. And when I press start, I quickly glance at the other ones and try to find crash. But I start with what my next one will be, which is bottom left, just because that's the physical order for Buster only that I go with. So to keep it in my head, I try to stick to it and just try to do crash last and rearrange the puzzle however to make do.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring had happened, especially when I saw you do that hesitate before switching over to Airman. It just was funny that the one stage that evened it up the most in the 8 robos between the two of you was the stage that you both decided to start with. And then Kami, I think you went straight to ended up going straight to Heat after that. So it was like we got to see all the most difficult stages right off the bat.
Yeah, I thought you guys might have some fun talking about that when I wound up in Heat so early. I know a lot of runners like to wait until they at least have item 2, I think it is. Maybe item 1 or 3 as well, depending on what they're going for.
Yeah, definitely item 2 to get through the Yoku block section, which you don't seem to subscribe to that strategy.
No, I've literally never done that, ever.
But I believe I think you can use item 1 to set up a smaller zip, and I think it's either or to set up the bigger zip in the Heatman stage.
There's the item 1 for the, I think it's the rando exclusive zip in the first room. And then I think you can do the zip in the last room with item 1, but most runners will use item 3 there. But yeah, any other thoughts on these seeds? That, like I said, that first race was incredibly close, and we saw the lead go back and forth a number of times. It was really exciting to watch.
Yeah, especially in the Wily 1 stage.
That's awesome to hear. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how that I can go back at that and kind of see what I was doing and what Kame was doing and kind of, take that into consideration when I decide to start, doing friendly races with the guys or just when I'm doing these on my own, just to kind of get better at this game. I haven't really played as much as I wanted to when I decided to join up for the tournament, so the practice has been kind of low. But personally, I've been PBing, a few times since, and I'm really happy with my performance overall. I mean, even in the last match I had with Mad Mega, I had a terrible Airman stage, but anybody can have that type of stage. It's not like it was because of my poor play. It was mostly because you just kind of got to figure it out, and sometimes it takes longer than others. But overall, I was having fun. Congrats to Kame, man. I hope everything goes good, and good luck to all the rest of the runners, man. And I'll definitely be commentating with you guys in these later matches, so it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, feel free. We can have every match commentated by me and Freako.
Definitely.
What? I'm on the DL. I can't do anything else but commentate. What are you talking about? So you're about to shut it down here, or anybody else want to bring up anything before we close it down?
Yeah, any final thoughts from you guys?
Just thanks for everyone for watching. Appreciate, for having us in the race, and good luck to everybody else in the race, honestly.
And please join us Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern for our weekly randomizer races. It's not a tournament, it's at any skill level. Everybody's free to join.
Yep, join the Discord. Play.
Yep, come and join the Discord. I learned a bunch of really cool tips through the Discord, so.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. It's a really friendly community. Definitely join the Discord if you're at all interested with the randomizer. Somebody can put a link to that in the chat, I'm sure. While I'm saying this, I'll vamp just a little bit so somebody can hopefully pull that up, because my finger is too busy holding down the talk button. And thank you, Speed Games, for having us. Thank you, Runners, for giving us this awesome performance. Please follow these guys. There should be a link in the chat to follow these guys to their streams. Thanks, Freako, for commentating with me. Thanks, Charlie, for making this tournament. Thanks, Duckfist, for making the randomizer. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, kammesennin and matphilly, for putting on such an entertaining race for us tonight. And, of course, thank you, Easy Danger, for coming into the commentary box with me.
In the words of Maui, and on behalf of everyone, you're welcome. I think that's about it. So we're gonna take off. I hope you all have a good night and enjoy.
Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
Good night, folks.
All right, shut it down.